Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Ronnie Alexandria. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. I'm out here trying to catch this last little bit of sunlight. It may go down on us. I just looked over at it and I looked back and I can't see shit. It's been a minute, but this message, I'm gonna go with that. That's not even the word that I was trying to say, but I guess this video is just so long overdue, but it's actually just right on time because this is something that myself and other people that I've been talking with have been going through. I don't have like a specific thing or any facts or anything coming with that. I'm just talking. And it's about triggers. So I don't know how long this will go. I'm not sure if I'll throw any edits on it or anything like that. We're just going to go and see how spirit moves. But I am in a big ass park. So I gotta, look around and make sure we're good. So if I do that, just know that I am just being safe. Triggers. We all have them. And for me, I feel like the reason why you haven't seen me, I started my channel, was so excited about it. Ran into somebody from the past, got triggered like a mug, and that shit like broke me down, to be honest. And I wouldn't say it didn't break me down. I won't give it that much of an emphasis, but it triggered me. It triggered me like a mug to the point where it made me realize more like what my triggers are. And that lasted about, 4 or 5 months. It's been like 5-6 months since I made a video. So, Puff is crooked. And among other things, I've just been busy and working and transitioning and all of that as well. But when I'm not feeling my best emotionally, and spiritually, then, that's when I like retreat. And more times in the past, it's been more times that I've not felt, emotionally well or spiritually well or whatever, however you want to use those words. But so yeah, I was triggered, and for me, that turned into just like self-doubt, you know what I mean? Like, this is what happened when you film outside. But it turned into like self-doubt. Now I may have to edit. Not even self-doubt, but just like being mad at myself because I knew I shouldn't have fell for the okie doke. I knew I shouldn't have went back. And be like, well, I'm different, so maybe you're different. No. When somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe their ass, because just because you've gone and life is feeling so much better over here, I'm in a better space now, maybe they've grown too, or I'm in a better space, that means that I can handle whatever's thrown at me better, right? I thought I was good. Like, okay, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I feel good. It's not that serious. And it was that serious. I wasn't ready for that. And so that came and kind of shook my world up. I fell back into some old habits that I thought that I was done with. And that is where the self doubt and disappointment came in. Like, damn, like, why would you even go? And then 2, why would you even let it affect you like that? Why would you let yourself fall back into these same patterns and things from the past that you just got yourself out of? And me getting myself out of that was like, okay, I'm going to, express myself. I'm going to share my voice. I'm going to share my talents. I'm going to share my knowledge. And then it's like, okay, when you start doing those things, of course you can expect the enemy or a trigger or something to be around the corner, because whether you believe it or what you not, there is an anti-you. And when you start doing the shit that you're supposed to be doing, you can always expect a hater, to come around and try to throw you off your path. And that's just energy, you know what I mean? It may not be a specific person, it's just energy. Sometimes people are moved to do things that they don't even understand themselves. They don't even understand what they're doing. So that is over. I experienced another trigger actually about a month ago that was similar to that one, but I left that moment, which from being triggered and that whole trigger, you know what I mean? Like shit lasting like 4 or 5 months of me having to get back off and stop those bad habits again. This next one lasted 24 hours. And I didn't revert to back to any old patterns or ways of thinking or anything like that. I recognized it exactly for what it was. And I was so proud of myself and was like, damn, last time this happened, girl, it took you almost 6 months to get yourself back right. And now you handled it, you recognized for what it was from a distance, and within 24 hours, you're like, okay, boom, moving on. Thanks for the lesson. And so with that is what I wanted to talk about, is like triggers and what they are. And to me, a trigger is just like, and this is what I'm learning. So I have come to the realization that hold for the helicopter. I've come to the realization, and if you know me, you know I like to speak in analogies and metaphors, so it really helps me. It's a lot of buzzing going on. If you know me too, you also know that me and bees have a history. Anyway, I've come to the realization, and it's helped me deal with it. Metaphors just really help me, that a trigger is a symptom, right? So when you're sick, you have a cold, or you have some type of disease in your body, you have a cancer, or you have something wrong, your body lets you know. Like, you receive a pain, right? That's a symptom. It's like, hey, hello, something's wrong, okay? Like, I have a knee issue. That probably comes from just like working out or dancing my whole life or whatever, right? But that is my body letting me know that something's not right in my knee. Your body, that knee, is sending a signal to you to, okay, make her feel this, because she needs to know that I'm not okay, right? My knee is like, hello, something's off. Something's not right. There's something there that needs to be taken care of. There's something there that needs to be cleared. Okay. And the same thing within like your vacuum cleaner. You have a clog in your vacuum, it stops working, the energy stops flowing the way that it usually does. It lets you know, like, hey, I can't work, there's something in here. Okay, something else that may resonate is a clogged drain. Same thing. You're used to washing your hands and washing your hair and taking your bath and doing whatever like normal, but then one day, all that stuff that's gone down no longer is able to pass through, and you receive a clog. Now you got to go get some drain on, you got to pour, you got to remove that clog. Those are just, it's like a message, like, hey, hello, something's here, something's stuck. So when you get a trigger, an emotional trigger, everything is energy. You get an emotional trigger. Someone does something to you, says something to you, or you see some type of behavior that triggers an emotional response to you, good or bad. But in my instance, we're talking about, negative, right? It's like, hey, something's wrong. There's a symptom here. There's a problem here. This needs to be dealt with, right? This needs to be cleared out. And a lot of times when we get triggered, we want to blame the other person. And I came out of my last trigger thanking the other person. I didn't personally thank them, but just, in prayer and in spirit, I'm like, okay, thank you for coming along, or coming back, in my case, to teach me that lesson that I needed to know. And the way that I reacted, right? Like, they are responsible for how they choose to act, and I'm responsible for how I choose to act. So the way that I reacted was like a clog. My body letting me know that there was a clog, right? That instantly reminded me of some other situations that happened in my past that I clearly have not dealt with or did not understand. And so when that thing happened again, it made me think about all those other times that it happened before. And then I started getting upset about it, and I wanted to react like how I reacted before, right? That's that energy. That's that pain. That's that, hello, hey, pay attention to me. Pay attention to this feeling. There's something wrong here. This feeling, this energy needs to be cleared. This needs to stop. This needs to be disposed of. So, okay. So I had to sit with myself in 24 hours. I went from 6 months to 24 hours, which is why I'm making this video, because we cannot be letting our triggers get the best of us, because our triggers are here to help us. We're here to evolve, right? So we can't evolve if every time we keep getting triggered, we keep, okay, just suppressing that. Suppressing that is telling you, hey, I want to come up. Hey, I need you to let me go. I need this to be expressed, or I need this energy to be cleared. Another example that I could use, which is probably kind of gross, but This is just how my mind works. When you get sick and you have a stomach ache and you literally have to throw up, right? That's the same. Think of that when you get triggered, or any type of emotional thing that wants to come up and you suppress it, right? You're like, no, I'm not dealing with that, or no, I don't want to go there. But you have to go there to be able to get that out. So the next time that it doesn't happen, you don't get that feeling again. Okay. So when you're sick, you have a stomach ache, or you ate something bad and your stomach is rumbling and you start to throw up, you literally like, oh, I just threw up in my mouth, or I'm about to throw, you feel it. Are you going to swallow it? That's the most disgusting thing you could ever fucking do. Excuse my French, but it is disgusting. I really did not mean to cuss, but hey, working on getting our throat chakra cleared. But why would you do that? That's nasty. You literally feel yourself about to throw up. You feel it is right there. And you're literally choosing to swallow it back and put that into your body and to keep yourself unhealthy. So that, and it's a trigger. A trigger is a reminder. It's like, hey, something's wrong. Hey, this needs to come up. Let this out. And a lot of time, and with that, we don't let it out. Okay. And so for me, letting it out this time around, with this trigger, it was a mirror. And so I had to think about, okay, when was the first time that you felt like this? And excuse me. And how did that make you feel? And all these things, and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. I will share the actual instance and everything that exactly happened later, at a later time when we want to get a little bit more personal. But right now I just wanted to share my metaphor of triggers, and to help people deal with them and not to be scared of them. It's interesting too, because right after that was when Janae had put out the first song, Triggered, and that was my shit. I trigger when I see your face, trigger, stay out my way. I was just like, yes, woo, woo. And then months later, now she's, got the triggered mantra, and I'm every day like, yes, I am protected. I was like, the follow-up to that was literally how I felt. So through that first trigger, that song was out, and I'm like, nah. And through this second trigger, I was like, nah. Oh, okay, this is a trigger. Oh, okay. I am protected. I was good. So shout out to Janae for that. Thank you so much. She's always in tune. But like I was saying, the trigger for me was a mirror. So this behavior that was basically being given to me, or that I felt like I was being affected by, was a trigger for, myself and past experiences that have happened. But then in this moment that it was happening, it was my body saying like, hey, you need to pay attention to this. You need to release this energy. And you need to also realize that this is energy that you give out, which is also now why you're getting it back. And so I feel like that's what got me into shape really quick, and how I was able to get over it in like 24 hours, because I was like, I do this to people. And it had to do with communication and not keeping your word. And just to go a little bit into that is something that I dealt with one of my parents, with my dad. If you're a girl or you're a guy or whatever, like we learn behavior, indirectly from our parents. And we may have an issue with that, like, oh, he didn't do this and he didn't do that and blah, 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 blah. But as a child, you learned that was learned behavior. And as an adult, you don't like it. But then your childhood self is still acting out that behavior now, because that's what they indirectly taught you. So I was like, as much as I was mad at my dad for the way that he was, inconsistent with his communication or with his word, is how I started living my life, being inconsistent and not keeping my word, or not communicating when I said I was going to communicate, or things like that. So when that trigger happened again, like, it was not the first time that it's happened, but this time I was able to recognize, like, okay, and especially in this time of my life right now, where I was like kind of like shutting down and retreating, like I was ignoring people. I wasn't responding to text messages. So when that happened to me, I was just like, okay, like, I see what this is, and again, this was someone from my past who I've had history with. So I definitely was able to see, the mirror then and the mirror now, and get, boom, quick, 24 hours. I said I wasn't going to tell you the story, but I guess I'm telling you the story. But it doesn't even matter. It is what it is. But I think that, facing ourselves, facing our triggers is basically the key thing here, because that's what's going to help you get over that hump, right? To evolve to whatever. You'll figure out why, you know what I mean? That lesson was in your life. But for me, that's what it was. And I just wanted to hop on for one and just say, hey, even me just doing this, I'm like, why have I waited so long to do this? It's so easy. I enjoy it. I love it. But sometimes we get in our own way and we get in our heads. And yeah, triggers. And not to say that they will ever stop, but I know that, for one, if I stop that behavior within myself, that I won't, get that mirrored back as much. Also, there are going to be other triggers. That is not the only thing, from my childhood or just anything that bothers me or whatever. And also not blaming other people, because we all have our own conditioning. We all were raised in a different way. We all have triggers and we all have programming and emotional baggage and shit that we cannot control sometimes. So when someone acts that way, just the same way as, okay, well, I'm acting this way and this happened because my dad did this or my mom did blah, 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 right? If you're that type of person and you're able to assess, like behavior and psychology like that, you cannot blame the other person, because you know that just as well as you are figuring out your story, there's some story behind their programming and why they're acting the way that they're acting too. So that's why I was able to, thank them and love and light, keep it moving. Like, thank you. I needed that lesson for myself. Again, this was not a conversation that actually happened, but for me to be able to just move on, like I said, and get the message that Spirit was sending me, it was just like, oh, okay. I do this. It's not cool. I understand why. I've been dealing with this forever. This is a learned behavior. The first time I felt this was with my dad, and so on and so on. So honestly, again, like I was saying, the main point of this video was just for me to get back reacquainted with my channel and to just come and have a little bit of story time. I think I am going to start incorporating a little bit of story time, so it's not just like facts, because I am a research head and I will hit you with facts all day. But I also want to share like how the things that I'm finding are affecting my life and what's going on with my life, and just be more open and a little bit more vulnerable and let a lot of people know that they're not alone. I know people who do know me probably think totally different about me than what my life actually is. That's none of my business, the way that you create me in your head. But what I can do is tell my truth, and that's it. So comment below, like and subscribe. Let me know about your triggers. Let me know if you have any metaphors that help you with your triggers. For me, this was a big deal. From dealing with one trigger for 6 months and then a similar trigger happening 6 months later and being able to get through it and understand it and receive the message in 24 hours. Y'all, like, that feels like a major life accomplishment to me. So again, that's why I wanted to share and hop on here. Please let me know what you do when you are triggered. What are your metaphors? How are you feeling? Did you miss me?